we start talking about the NBA and expansion, the business side of sports, and there is some timing here with this particular podcast because there was some news that a lot of people, I think, in Seattle who have been wishing for expansion, or Sonics fans that have been wishing for expansion, say, "Hey, this is a big piece of news." And what we're talking about is the collective bargaining agreement, this new deal between the NBA and the Players Association, the CBA, as we like to say in shorthand, that you're well familiar with. Walk our listeners and viewers through this about why this is a significant piece of the puzzle for the NBA going forward, and also when it comes to expansion.
Yeah, it's a good question. Adam Silver hasn't made any bones about it or secrets. He wants to expand, and the own. I don't want to say all owners. There are owners who do not want to expand 100%, but for the most part, the league wants to expand. And starting with Seattle, I think number one. And but before they get to those conversations, there are two very important pieces that shape the league's economics that needed to be done, and will also help dictate what an expansion price might look like, because once those two things are locked in. First was the collective bargaining agreement, basically the agreement between the players and the teams in terms of how the money is split. There's lots of other factors that go into it, but number one is how much money is going to go from the teams to the players. And it's roughly been a 50-50 split in recent years, and will continue to be a roughly 50-50 split. The pie is getting a little bigger because they're including licensing income, which was outside of what is called basketball related income, which is the revenue number that's used to determine what goes to the players. But for the most part, the partnership has been so wildly successful, where you're going to have dozens and dozens of players making more than $35 million a year next season, and even more once these new TV deals are done, which is the next big negotiation that has to be done before they turn their eyes to expansion. And so the next deals run out 24-25. And those conversations will probably start after this season because they take a little time. And particularly if you're looking to bring in another party, if it continues to be ESPN, Turner, it's almost like a turnkey operation. There's not a lot of change. They're just writing bigger checks. But if you got another partner in there, whether it's an NBC or you certainly have a streaming option in there, they're going to want some time. So these things will be done, not this summer probably, but probably next summer, and certainly by the fall, you would seemingly have a TV deal in place.
So that's your timeline. I mean, there's been talk a $75 billion deal, which seems like a massive number for the NBA. And when you start talking about expansion, it's like, well, if the owners are going to get that much money from their TV deal, why would they ever need to expand? So you think that potentially a deal that size could be done later on this year?
Oh, I don't think, my guess would be 2024. You wouldn't see a TV deal before then. I mean, I don't think the conversations will really start until after this current season is done, and they're going to take time. I mean, they're already negotiating in the media. Warner Brothers Discovery is saying they don't need the NBA. That 75 number has been out there from an original CNBC report, and kind of, it was I don't want to say a trial balloon, but it was, I would say, a best case scenario. I think that's probably on the high end, but you will certainly see a doubling, and barring a meltdown in the advertising market over the next 12 months, or a significant recession, I would see easily NBA TV rights will double. And whether it's 3x, so that's a big number. But the way the NBA gets there is by carving out new packages. You don't get there with just ESPN and Warner Brothers Discovery. They're not paying $75 billion between the two of them. But if you carve out maybe a third linear package, a streaming package, you can, there is a path to getting there. And to your point, it just makes for a bigger expansion number, because if you are now going to have to give up assuming there's 2 expansion teams, that's 2 30-seconds of the pie that are no longer going to your team. So the number will be big, very big.